My name is Janin, and I've been a student of various mindfulness practices for the last 22 years. I began my journey into mindfulness through yoga, and I had very profound experiences in my very first yoga class. The most notable being that I was relieved of what felt like decades of stress, and I had only been alive 2 decades at that point, but I had such a clean release of what was a huge buildup of incredible stress in my body and in my mind, that it was a very powerful experience for me, and I continued to attend yoga classes, and I've continued to try many various styles of yoga over the years, the last 22 years. And at first, my motivation was to have less pain and more pleasure. And in 1992, when I was attending the massage school here in Gainesville, Florida, Paul Lynn was my polarity teacher there, and he was also a counselor at the school, and through him and some of his mindfulness trainings in the Vipassana tradition, which translates to insight meditation, which consists of silent sittings and mindfulness practice, that whole body of knowledge that comes with that training was incredibly enlightening for me, because prior to that I had been merely seeking for more enjoyable experiences, which was healthy. I mean, the healthier things I did, the better I felt. So there was some benefit there. However, there was this consistent pattern of always reaching for a state other than where I was. And in the Vipassana training, what was so powerful for me was that it's about being right where you are, whether you're in complete physical agony, which usually there's part of the brain going to create the agony part. It's pain. Suffering builds on pain, and usually the mind is feeding it with thoughts of, oh, this is horrible, oh, it's going to get worse. The thoughts create the suffering layered upon the pain. If we just have the pain and have some control, or we don't allow the thoughts to proliferate, then we have something more manageable. And like everything else, pain changes. So being with it fully facilitates that. We don't need to push it away, but just opening to the pain and to what that experience has to teach us can be very powerful. And it's not something taught in our culture too often. So the Vipassana training was very, very powerful for me. It taught me to not keep seeking things out to get to a better state, because if you do that, there's no end to it. The Vipassana training was more about coming back to the moment, clear of the extraneous thoughts, paring down until you're left with what is just actually happening. Of course, this is easier said than done, but with lots of practice, clarity can be achieved, and it's a worthy practice. More recently, I have stumbled into the Zen tradition, where silent sitting is also part of the practice, as well as silent walking meditation. And it's a very experiential thing. I recommend anybody to try it. It's better than you think, or better than I thought it was going to be. It's indescribable. The experience of sitting with a room full of people who are attempting the same thing, which is merely to sit with yourself and begin to train yourself to not be carried away by your thoughts. It's very powerful because in each moment there is such power. There is such expanse of love, which to me is the essence and the reason why you would even attempt these things. There is such a love that just seems to exist, that just penetrates every fiber of our being, every part of ourselves that connects to every other part of the universe. There is this tangible and intangible love that is there. When you drop the thinking, there is this, to me, benevolent, guiding, living force dwelling in us and around us and propelling us and stabilizing us and all these things. And I think that we become more in contact with that through these wonderful Buddhist practices. So I encourage people to try them, and I like to teach the Buddhist meditation practice in my yoga class. And I think it's good to encourage people to not be too hard on themselves, to be okay with where you are, and to let your own sense of curiosity and inquisitiveness about these practices have a chance to come forward and to see what it is for you. It's been very powerful in my life, and I know it'll be a guiding force as I go throughout the next however many years, decades, who knows. But I am very grateful for having learned meditation. It has been the most helpful thing to help clarify and organize and minimize delusions. Not organizing delusions, but just minimizing delusions and organizing and clarifying everything else. Minus the delusions, but they do creep back in, so it's a constant process. And it can be fun if you're not too hard on yourself, so I encourage you to give it a try. Thank you.